measure it in style. In the air, Srishan takes it! India win! Unbelievable scenes here at the bull ring.
MS Dhoni got it right in the end.
India, the world champions.
Big shot leg side, sixer!
Oh, he's got all of that. Here we go, last ball, through the offside, it's running through, could be run out! Is he run out? He's got him. That's it, India win.
That is brilliantly done. India win the Champions Trophy as England capitulate.
The winners of the Champions Trophy 2013, India.
Got him. Look at that catch, super catch.
That's huge.
Outside edge! Good catch by MS Dhoni.
Great shot. That's a fierce square cut. It's gone to the boundary like a tracer bullet. Dhoni finishes off in style. India lift the World Cup. After 28 years, the parties start in the dressing room. And it's an Indian captain who's been absolutely magnificent in the night of the final.
Looking at MS Dhoni's keeping, well, it's purely homemade. It's very much his own way of doing things behind the stumps. It's not manufactured. It's certainly nothing that you'd see walk straight out of the textbook of wicket keeping. The reason that he is so effective behind the stumps, in my view, is that he's such a wonderful athlete.
Got him. Look at that catch, super catch.
He possesses power, speed, agility, and he's got reflexes like a cat. Speak to any spinner. His ability up at the stumps is phenomenal. His speed in taking those bails off is second to none.
Yeah, the ball turns and he gets the wicket.
Dhoni, the keeper, was quite unique. He was different in that he was self-made almost. You wouldn't say that his footwork or some of his glove work was out of a textbook, but he made himself into a very efficient keeper, and particularly when he was standing up to the stumps, he was street smart.
And we often hear people say no mess, no fuss. With his wicket keeping, he was no fuss, but you never saw a mess. He was very solid behind the stumps. He wasn't flamboyant, but boy, oh boy, did he get his job done.
Here we go, last ball, through the offside, it's running through, could be run out! Is he run out? He's got him. That's it, India win.
Sometimes when you have one skill that is so powerful, it tends to overshadow another skill. It was like the great Viv Richards, one of the greatest fielders of all time, and you'd never realized it because his batting was that good. You look at Dhoni and you say, was he a natural keeper? Did he look like Ian Healy? Did he look like Jack Russell Allen? Not. Did he look like Saha or Kirmani? But he found his own way. And I don't think there is a quicker stumper than MS Dhoni, and that's because his hands were just so quick. He was almost like a doubles player at the net. His hands were that quick, and the speed with which he took off the bail. So I always say he was the fastest hands in the East, and people criticize me saying, no, he's got the fastest hands in the game.
just when it was getting a little tense for India.
His relationship also with the bowler is so important as well. He reads the game and he shares that vision with the bowler, and he's in partnership with the bowler, which is a very important attribute for any wicketkeeper. So he's a person that a team, and more importantly, the bowler, can trust behind the stumps.
Teams really appreciate that type of leadership from their wicketkeeper specifically. His contributions are manifold, but as a keeper, as a communicator, as a reader of the game, second to none.
Oh dear, now where is the back foot? I think that's the key. He's given it well.
And with keepers, when something stands out, you realize why for so many years nothing was standing out, because he was that good.
Outside edge. Good catch by MS Dhoni.
If I'm looking at MS Dhoni as a captain, he's one of the greatest of all time. The reason for this is his incredible calmness under pressure. This calmness is absorbed by his playing group and allows them to play with the freedom and play the game like it should be played, and that's to have fun. And that's very much the Dhoni way. Tactically, he's brilliant. He seems to be one of these leaders that always appears to be an over or two ahead of the game, which is so important when it comes to decision making. He also allows his players to play with instinct. He empowers his players to just play with their gut, which is very much the central part of his being as a leader.
He was an everyman's leader to his team, authoritative, but yet down to earth enough where he was approachable to the members under his charge. That whole sense of self-belief and confidence he had was unobtrusive, in that you never felt any level of significant arrogance. And I think wearing your leadership so lightly is a good thing. History will remember him kindly for that.
I enjoyed the calmness that always accompanied him. I don't think there was ever too much fuss. I don't think India did things that they were ashamed of or unhappy to do under MS Dhoni. I got the impression as he went along as a test match captain that he wasn't sure he was always going to get 20 wickets. So he became a slightly more defensive captain as he went along. But in one-day cricket, he was supreme, because in one-day cricket, there are two natural endings. If you can't take 10 wickets, you bowl your 50 overs. Defense becomes a very big part of your bowling. So he became an outstanding one-day captain. If the track was just gripping, turning a little bit, then he was a great captain of spin bowling. And of course, he led from the front. There was no game was ever finished till Dhoni had stopped chasing. So I think as a one-day captain, incomparable as a one-day captain.
As a cricket brain, the shorter the formats became, is the more you saw the almost computer-like cricket brain behind many of his decisions. But yet still, he was able to be instinctive. And just the marriage of that allows us to remember his international journey as a significant one in India's chapter of leadership and world cricket as well. Dhoni as a finisher was almost a paradigm shift, or he created his own paradigm shift, because he was able to blend together significant power as a batsman with quick hands and agility and athleticism and speed between the wickets. So he created such a headache for opposition captains, bowlers and fielding units, because he was able to hit the ball over the infield, over the boundary, into gaps, but he was also able to run hard and push his partners when the boundaries weren't there. And that is a troubling balance for any fielding unit.
He's finished with a six again, MS Dhoni.
Captain Cool, finishing it in style.
There's just one stat that tells it all. played almost all his life at 5 and 6. Now, when you play at 5 and 6, you don't always look at your average. Dhoni's average of 50 plus is ridiculous. But at 5 and 6, there's a few not outs. It can boost it. Won't take you to 50, but 50 is an awesome average. But look at the number of runs he made. 10,000 plus runs batting at that position. India's traditionally been a top 3 side, right? I mean, you see now Rohit, Shikhar, Virat, top 3 winning you games. Otherwise, it's almost like there's no circuit breaker behind them. But for someone to come in at 5 and 6 and score 10,000 runs, his batting average in games that India won, 100 plus. And that is why the game was never over till MS Dhoni was done with the chase. And I think that is just an incredible record.
It's a smash, and that will find the fence in no time. MS Dhoni is up and running.
If I'm looking at MS Dhoni as a one-day player, he really is your perfect package, the genuine all-rounder. What a finisher. He's probably one of the best finishers the game has seen. And this is really reflected with his calmness under pressure. You know, all good finishers, I look back in history, Michael Bevins of the world, who was renowned for his brilliant ability to finish game in the 90s. But really beyond that, it's MS Dhoni that's owned that finishing role. And he's done it because he's been able to calculate the finishing role perfectly. He's understood what's required. He's worked out in advance how to approach and dismantle his opposition. He's been in some pivotal partnerships as well, which has been so important in India's success in ODI cricket.
That's huge, absolutely huge.
I think what personified him was his calmness. You know, whether it was captaining the side, which can be very stressful, particularly in India with all the pressure that's on you. He always just seemed to be so calm, so calculated, didn't allow his emotions to get away from him. And that probably made him a fantastic finisher in the one-day arena as well. He didn't let the situation get to him. Yeah, he might have got it wrong every once in a while, but by the fact that he was so calm, he took it right down to the end. He always backed his ability. And probably 8 to 9 times out of 10, it paid off, and he was able to take himself and the team over the line.
That's hit very well by MS Dhoni.
He always said, if it came to a pressure situation, I always backed myself. And as a fan, you were just sitting there thinking, is he intentionally creating a pressure system so that he's playing to his strength and creating more pressure on the opposition? It was almost like you're taking a penalty in football. When you run up to take a penalty, who is the pressure on? Is the pressure on the taker or is the pressure on the goalkeeper? If you've got 20 to chase in the last 2 overs, 15 of the last over, the pressure's on the bowler to defend that. And he says, there, I think I've got my chance. So I think as a chaser, with his extraordinary ability to play the field, extraordinary ability to hit the big shot when he wanted, he was fantastic.
Dhoni finishes off in style. India lift the World Cup. After 28 years, the parties start in the dressing room.
I remember talking to Rahul Dravid once when he was just a young man, when Dhoni was a young man, and said, why don't you bat him at 3? He just destroys attacks. He said, because no one finishes like him, and that was to be his hallmark. His legacy as a cricketer, his legacy as a captain, outstanding, but even more so what he did to young people in India. For a long time, your champions came from Mumbai, they came from Bangalore, they came from Delhi, and until this long-haired, seemingly rustic-looking fellow came and told you that small towns in India can have ambition, can have fire, that you can own the big stage. And Dhoni, therefore, goes far beyond the numbers that Dhoni generated. The numbers are awesome. And for a lot of people, you look at the numbers and you evaluate Dhoni. Dhoni goes far, far beyond the numbers in that he ignited hope, he ignited passion, he showed possibilities to a lot of people from a part of India that didn't traditionally produce players. And today there are young men in India, saying, a lot of young girls in India saying, if Dhoni could do it, we could. And I think that will remain his lasting legacy.
The legacy that MS Dhoni has left is a significant one. There's no question of that. As a captain, he's been one of India's most successful captains, He's a captain that has been loved throughout his journey, not only by his playing group, but by the public. I call him really the people's player and the people's captain. They love MS Dhoni, and they've got every right to love MS Dhoni because he's calm, he's collected, and he'll be remembered more importantly as someone that rallied a group of men to success throughout a long period of time and played a brand of cricket that was admired and respected by all.
Dhoni's legacy would be multi-layered, and I don't think any one person would be able to form the complete narrative. To me, two things should be remembered. The Tamil word that was attributed to him, Tala, where it speaks to a coolness within the crucible of a World Cup tournament, a World Cup final, the intense competition of the IPL, etc., permeated his entire team, and he was then able to, what you're trying to do there is to keep people calm so they can focus logically on the processes they need to go through in order to find success, and Dhoni did that like no other. He also wore that leadership quite lightly, humility in trying to treat as many people equally as possible. And that's not an attribute that you find in a lot of leaders modern day. That jumps out to me as a great thing from MS Dhoni.
MS Dhoni will go down as one of the greatest cricketers of his generation. He was a fantastic cricketer, a brilliant player for India, and a wonderful leader. Congrats to him on a wonderful career. All the best going forward. You served your country very well, and you can be very proud of the achievements.